Good morning. This is Don V with Truth Be Told. It's Monday, July 12th, and we have several interesting stories we'd like to report on. And with that, before we move to those, don't forget to subscribe. It's completely free, and 97% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribers. Doesn't cost you a cent, and only takes a second. Much appreciated. Join my channel. Anyway, without ado, let's go ahead and move right to it. First one is learn how to spot the suspicious behaviors. FBI encourages Americans to snitch on their own family and friends. These people just make me ill. They're so corrupt. Where have we seen this before? The FBI on Sunday encouraged Americans to snitch on their own family members and friends. Family members and peers are often best positioned to witness signs of mobilization to violence, help prevent homegrown violent extremism. And it gives a website address to learn how to spot suspicious behaviors and report them to the FBI. The FBI said Sunday. The FBI outlined suspicious behaviors to watch out for in a 32-page bulletin. Oh, no surprise. Back to the Obama years. Although the FBI surprisingly focused on Islamic terrorism, they described behaviors by other homegrown extremists to watch out for. Based on the FBI's treatment of Trump supporters who attended the January 6th Capitol protest, it is clear the feds are also encouraging people to snitch on conservative family members. For example, the FBI views retweeting or linking to violent extremists or suspicious behavior. Violent extremists, QAnon followers, MAGA grandmas. Most of the behaviors listed below perfectly describe BLM and Antifa terrorists. However, the FBI totally ignores their terrorism and focuses only on MAGA grandmothers. You can see this big list here. I'm not going to read this big list. I'm not going to help them out any. Look at this. This is just crazy. Family members and peers are often best positioned to witness signs of mobilization to violence, help prevent homegrown violent extremism. At any rate, moving on. Rest in peace. Former FBI agent James Kallstorm dies at 78, a good guy within the now totally corrupt organization. Rest in peace, James Kallstorm. Over the past few years, James Kallstorm was one voice from the FBI who led you to believe the FBI still had hope. In an interview with Fox Business legends Lou Dobbs, Kallstorm called Jim Comey a total narcissist and more. Jim Comey, an educated nitwit, and he promoted people of his ilk around him. What they did to General Flynn is an absolute and total outrage. You want to watch this guy? Let's see what they say. All right.
Disgraced former FBI Director James Comey continued to try to deflect blame for his conduct and their consequences, blasting Republicans and President Trump testifying for nearly 6 hours before House lawmakers.
So another day of Hillary Clinton's emails and the Steele dossier. This while the President of the United States is lying about the FBI, attacking the FBI, and attacking the rule of law in this country. How does that make any sense at all? Republicans used to understand that the actions of a president matter, the words of a president matter, the rule of law matters, and the truth matters.
Well, joining us now, James Kallstorm, former assistant director of the FBI. He served nearly 30 years with the Bureau. Jim, it's great to have you with us.
Thanks, Lou.
It used to matter who ran the FBI. Your sense of what is going on in the FBI and its leadership still, and the performance of this disgraced former FBI director.
Yeah, Jim Comey is just, I don't know, I guess if, you looked at a picture of someone who was a narcissist, you'd have Jim Comey's, that would be the picture you'd have in the book. The guy's just out of his mind. The notion that the FBI reputation has been soiled, not because of him, but because of other things. I mean, it's because of him. And it's because of the other 5 or 6 or 10 or 12, whatever the number is, people around him. The McCabe's of the world, the Strucks of the world, the Pages of the world, and all the rest of these people.
Everyone who was associated with him has been sullied and soiled and disgraced, whether they've been fired or whether they've been resigned.
Yeah, he's an educated nimwit. I mean, and he promoted people of his ilk around him, I guess, so he wouldn't feel he'd feel like he was still going to be the imperial wizard. You know, the guy is just out of his mind, quite frankly. What he's done criminally, the federal violations he's put himself into, and the Bureau, he has zero support now in the FBI.
He carried out an investigation against the President of the United States for nearly a year before there was a special counsel. It's unclear to anyone right now how he got away with it, and why there was not some check, because as far as we know, no other FBI director in history has done that.
He got away with it because he was a lieutenant in Obama's intel army.
Yeah.
He was a lieutenant in the army with others, Brennan et al., Clapper et al. You know, this whole conspiracy. First off, to stop Trump.
Right.
And then if he, by some miracle, was elected, to make his administration worthless.
I think back every time we talk about the intelligence apparatus of the Obama administration unleashed on this president. I can recall vividly when the president said that he was being wiretapped, and the national left-wing media mocked him, said, no, ridiculous, no evidence, blah, blah, blah. It turns out it was worse than wiretapped. It was persecution, it was surveillance, it was spies within his own his campaign organization. There was nothing that they didn't resort to try to destroy this man as a candidate and then as a president.
And you look at these timelines, meetings at the White House with Obama and just a few other people. He goes to New York to brief the president on certain things. He stays behind, and he mischaracters, the actual Steele document. Then he lets CNN, of course, ahead of time, know that he was going to do that.
Right.
Then he signals, okay, it's okay, CNN, you got the hook. You can do your show. I mean, the whole thing is just...
it's disgraceful.
It's totally disgraceful.
And what he did to General Michael Flynn is just disgusting. Tomorrow there will be a sentencing. And for what? Sentencing him for what?
What they did to General Flynn is just an absolute, total outrage. The American people should be outraged. What they did with him, they bankrupted him. They made him sell his house. They made him do all kinds of things over nothing, over some grudges.
And then they announced today that they're going after his two business partners as foreign lobbyists.
Well, I hope Judge Sullivan throws the case out. I hope he chastises everybody involved in this witch hunt. I mean, they were out of control what they did to him. They were in violation of the Constitution. They're in violation of the privacy regulations. The unmaskings, we haven't even talked about that.
And that, I know in your view, that's a bigger scandal than all of
hundreds
the rest.
and hundreds of unmaskings that have not, the evidence of which
by the Obama administration
have not seen the light of day yet. Right. Who knows what the number is? Maybe it's 1,000. But it was all part of this scheme that was hatched in the White House with the national security team and guys like Comey.
That's what you say. Goodbye to a great patriot. Moving on. Biden's ICE now allowing pregnant women and women nursing babies to stay in the U.S. Where are they going? According to Biden's new rules on immigration, pregnant women and women nursing children will no longer be detained pregnant women for deportation. On Friday, a new policy was announced that ICE will no longer detain most pregnant, nursing, and postpartum women for deportation. The list of those exempt from deportation proceedings is growing. Hoter reports. During the Trump administration, thousands of pregnant women were held in detention centers along with others who were detained at the border. The statement from ICE includes some mumbo-jumbo about infant development and parental bonding. These are words to humanize illegal entries into the U.S. In other words, this is the Biden's administration moving forward to open border policies by releasing these women as they are detained at the southern border. Biden is broadening catch and release policies. The statement by ICE claims that the new and expanded directive complements ICE's national detention standards, family residential standards, and ICE Health Service Corps policies. The Biden administration is also taking advantage of the 14th Amendment. Babies born in the United States are granted full benefits of citizenships, according to ICE. Yeah, so if you're pregnant, let's make sure they become citizens. The problem of pregnant women arriving on the southern border is relatively a small one. As of Thursday, only 13 pregnant women were in ICE custody, and they were being considered for release under the new policy. This report from ICE doesn't match with what we reported in April, where a line of pregnant women were loaded on a bus to nowhere. Let's see, is this a video? I don't know. Let's click on this. This crazy, shocking video of pregnant illegal aliens moved around at night at southern border, then being prepped for travel across the United States. What is going on at the southern border? If Americans knew that they'd be marching in the streets, instead, illegal immigrants are being marched between facilities involved in their early days in the U.S. Obama and Biden are back to Obama's old ways of destroying this great nation. They're trying to change the country to something like Venezuela, and they will do anything to do it. They'll can't say those words and break any number of laws. It's about absolute power. An incredible video showing the movement of illegal immigrants at the southern border was released today. It shows around 50 girls, a majority of them pregnant, all like illegal immigrants, being moved around between locations at the city on the border. Girls are shipped from fenced-in facilities to the Catholic Charities facility about a block away. They're marched at night, and few children with them in tow. In the video, it is reported that the women's phones are taken away. The videographer asks if this is so they can't be traced. This is shocking, and this is what is happening in America. Let's go ahead and play this.
Okay, guys, this is what they were so desperately trying to hide. Every one of these women is pregnant. Every single one. Okay? That's why they're being allowed into the country without actually having children with them. Well, there's one child, but the majority of these women are pregnant. And this is what's going on. This is the long line of illegal migrants that they did not want you to see. This is why they called the police on us. This is why they said we could not be here. But here we are. And the police agreed with us that there's nothing they can do about it because we are exposing the truth. We are following all the laws. Just count, folks. Just count. Just count with me. Stop this video, play this video as many times as you want, okay? And again, this is just one more group tonight. Just one more group.
This is just outrageous what this so-called administration is doing. All right. On Politico, it says, as Bezos called for tax hikes, Amazon lobbied to keep its tax bill low. Of course. The lobbying effort shows the complications that come with the push to raise corporate revenues. As Amazon publicly embraced Joe Biden's plan to raise the corporate tax rate across the board, it has also lobbied Congress to preserve a price tax break that helped it lower its corporate tax bill. The retail giant's founder, Jeff Bezos, earned plaudits earlier this year when he announced that Amazon would back a rise in the corporate tax rate to help pay for Biden's infrastructure package. His comments broke with most of the rest of corporate America. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce and Business Roundtable vehemently opposed such tax hikes and serves as a rejoinder to critics who have attacked Amazon for paying little to no federal income taxes. Biden himself criticized Amazon's tax rate as too low on the campaign trail. Behind the scenes, however, Amazon and other companies have been making moves to help keep their taxes from rising, and their efforts illustrate some of the unseen hurdles the Biden administration faces in its efforts to bring in more revenue from corporate taxation, as it calls for raising the overall corporate tax rate to fund its ambitious domestic agenda. The company hired the tax lobbyist Joshua Odence a former Democratic congressional aide and veteran to the Obama administration, last month to lobby on the section of the tax code dealing with the research and development tax deduction according to a disclosure filing. And the R&D Coalition, an alliance of companies that benefits from the deduction, including Amazon, Intel, National Associated of Manufacturers, and others, hired a squad of veteran tax lobbyists at PricewaterhouseCoopers earlier this year. Those hired include former top 8 Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. No wonder he's such a rhino. The R&D deduction and the related R&D tax credits are designed to incentivize companies to shell out on research and development by providing tax breaks for spending on research. The credit was first established in 1981 according to the Tax Foundation and has broad bipartisan support. Its use by Amazon and others underscores how calls for corporations to pay more in taxes may be simpler in theory than practice, since many of the tax breaks that companies utilize are popular even if the company's low tax footprint is not. It's tough to know exactly how much R&D tax credit, which is broadly popular in both parties, has saved Amazon, but Amazon disclosed in its Securities and Exchange Commission filing earlier this year that the tax credits that helped it reduce its U.S. tax burden were primarily related to U.S. federal research and development credit. Credit is not the only way that Amazon reduces its tax bill. It also benefits from tax rules allowing it to deduct the cost of the stock it gives its employees as part of their pay package, among other tax breaks. It's very likely they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars a year in R&D tax credits, said Matthew Gardner, a senior fellow at the Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy who studied the tax habits of Amazon and other big tech companies. So it goes to show you, it's not as I say, it's not as I do, but as I say. This guy just makes me sick, makes me just want to stop ordering anything from that company. At any rate, this is Don V, broadcasting out of Arizona under warm sunny skies. Looks like we might get some rain, so it looks like it'll be a cooler day. At any rate, everybody have a wonderful day. Hope you enjoyed these news reports, and we are out of here.